The New England Patriots and Bill Belichick have officially agreed to part ways. It is official. The road of Bill Belichick's era here in New England has finally come to an end, just like Tom Brady's did a few years ago. 20 years of dominance by those two. The history that set the best franchise in NFL history, that made the New England Patriots organization or franchise at all, has officially come to an end. And it's completely bittersweet. It's completely bittersweet. You guys are getting my complete raw emotions right now. I'm not even 100% awake. I get up before I usually even wake up, just to get a sip of water. And the news breaks. The New England Patriots posting on all social medias that Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft are going to be holding a meeting at noon today. Something that we don't usually see. The Patriots announcing on Instagram, on Twitter, on all platforms about this meeting. And not even as a story post, but as a regular post. Before we break down what this means for the team, before we break down how this ultimately went about, here's what I'll say. Bill Belichick in New England, 24 total seasons, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 6 Super Bowl titles, 17 divisional titles, 266 to 120 regular season record, and a 30-12 postseason record. No one will ever do it like Bill Belichick did. And unfortunately, this had to happen. We're not going to do an ad read here in today's video. It just doesn't feel right. But we're also not going to roll that Patriots Global intro. We're just going to hop right into it with complete emotions. Like I said, whether you wanted to believe it or not, this had to happen. To all of you out there who came at my neck, who came at other people's necks saying, Bill Belichick's not going anywhere. Bill's staying. Bill, we trust. All this. You were in denial before. You're in denial now. And I hate to say I told you guys so, but some of you guys put me through the absolute ringer in the comments with this Bill Belichick drama. You're wrong, Global. You don't know what you're doing. Exactly what I said was going to happen is exactly what happened with Bill Belichick. I told you that this was going to be a rough decision for Robert Kraft. The season wasn't going to end, and he was just immediately going to let go of Bill Belichick. This wasn't going to be something that was announced as a firing, but rather, this is exactly how I said it was going to happen, a parting of ways, a mutual agreement of a parting of ways, and that is exactly how it was announced. Some Patriots pages out there, some experts talking, even up until Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft decided to go their separate ways, we're talking about trades. This is what the Sean Payton trade looked like. The Patriots should get more for Bill Belichick. No, they weren't. It became pretty clear a couple of weeks ago they were not going to trade Bill Belichick. Maybe even several weeks ago at this point, that they were not going to trade Bill Belichick. That would have been like trading Tom Brady when he was here. No matter how bad Tom Brady got here in New England, he was never going to be traded. Just like Tom Brady, Bill Belichick was an absolute massive piece, a massive piece why the New England Patriots won 6 Super Bowls, why they went to 9 Super Bowls, why they are the most successful franchise in NFL history. Because of the respect between the two, you do not just trade that guy off. And this is like I told you guys weeks before, right? Because of the respect that Robert Kraft has for Bill Belichick, he's going to give him enough respect to say, you know what, even if we can't have you here in New England, I appreciate you so much that there's going to be teams that are interested. And if you want to keep coaching, you can go out and you can choose where you want to go. Because the truth of the matter is that there are going to be a lot of teams that are more interested in Bill Belichick as their head coach now that he is available as kind of like a free agent in a type of way, that teams will not have to give up anything to sign Bill Belichick. Significant amount more of teams will now be in the run for Belichick now that they don't have to give up anything. New England won't get a first round pick, a second round pick. They're not going to get a comp pick for him. They're moving on. There's going to be a new head coach and general manager here in New England, and they are going to get absolutely nothing for the departure of Bill Belichick. And as great as it would have been to get something back for Bill Belichick, at the end of the day, this is exactly what I said was going to happen, and I don't disagree with it. Again, from a football building standpoint, yes, that would have been the best thing for the team. But that's just not what it always comes down to, especially for Robert Kraft, especially the Patriots way. When you do what you've done here in New England, you don't do that. It's like with Devin McCourty, with Matthew Slater. Those guys, if they wanted to play here in New England, they were always going to play here in New England. They were never going to trade them, and they were never going to let them play anywhere else. And as much as I really, really, really wish that Bill Belichick did not have to go, the truth of the matter is that he does. And a lot of people are going to think or even have thought that I'm a Bill Belichick hater. Those of you who have commented saying, well, it doesn't get much better than Belichick. What are you going to do? Unfortunately, it does get better than Belichick with how he's coached over the last few years, and unfortunately progressively gotten worse. And it really isn't Belichick as a coach that has been the problem. Belichick, from a game planning perspective, from scheming it up every single week, there is nobody in the league that is better than him. But everything runs through Belichick, right? We talked about a week ago, maybe not even, about all of the drama that was going on behind the scenes with the New England Patriots during this 2023 season. Check out that video if you haven't, because I'm not going to break it all down right now again. But that's a massive reason why Belichick has to go. All the decisions, both for the coaching staff, both for personnel, it all ran through Belichick. And Belichick's still trying to coach in the same way that he did in the early 2000s to the 2010s when he first came here. I don't necessarily think that they have to start completely fresh. I think that they can still implement the old kind of scheme, the Patriots way tendencies, but they have to learn to modernize it with today's NFL. That is the problem. They don't need to completely go away from the Patriot way and those tendencies, but they have to find a way to mix that with today's modern NFL. And unfortunately, that's something that Bill Belichick has not been able to do. And because of that, too, there's been a complete split both with players and especially with the coaching staff. The truth of the matter is that Belichick was never able to adapt. He just wasn't. You even look at even the past year, not even just this past season, but this past off season. You bring in Bill O'Brien and you don't let him build his own coaching staff. It's not just an issue with Belichick, but it's an issue with the coaches behind him. And the problem is that Belichick's been the guy to build the coaching staff that has been behind him also. Belichick's been thinking too much with his heart and not enough with his head on what's actually working and with what's not working. I mean, you look at it, right? Not giving Bill O'Brien the ability to scrap the coaching staff offensively and bring in his own guys. Then you sign Adrian Clem, who was, I believe, their third offensive line coach in 3 straight years. And you don't let him teach the way that he wants. He was teaching a more modernized kind of teaching schemes and tendencies. And Belichick thought that he was going to come in and teach the old Dante Scarnecchia tendencies instead. And when he didn't, there was a massive problem. That's a big reason why Adrian Clem probably isn't going to be back here with the Patriots this year. And then for me, the big one is what they did surrounding Mac Jones. Now, not only did Bill Belichick want Matt Patricia back here over Bill O'Brien for the 2023 season, which is a massive issue all within itself, but you look at what Bill Belichick did for a second year quarterback in Mac Jones on his rookie deal still, and essentially said after his rookie season in 2021 to do things that Tom Brady was doing his final years in New England. I don't care if Mac Jones was on the fourth year of his rookie deal. I don't care if Mac Jones was 6 years into his NFL career. Do not ask him to do the same things you're asking Tom Brady to do, especially things that Tom Brady was doing in his final years here in New England as a true veteran who's been to multiple Super Bowls and won multiple Super Bowls. They were asking Mac Jones in his second year to excel the Patriots past the limitations they had offensively. You don't give him a true offensive coordinator in his second year. You also don't give him a veteran quarterback in his second year because you scrapped Brian Hoyer because of what he vocally said about your offense and the way that it was being run. You never gave Mac Jones a true wide receiver one or weapons around him that actually made sense for the offensive scheme. Last year in 2022, the Patriots also ran several different offensive schemes and completely tried to switch up the way that they run this offense, and that completely backfired on them. Just look at the 2022 draft class, a complete mess up because it's all centered around a different offensive scheme that lasted a couple of months. And then year after year after year, this offensive line got worse and worse and worse. And we all stood back wondering, why does Mac Jones look bad? Why does every quarterback under center look bad? Why is there all of a sudden no run game this season? All because of the offensive line. And the reason that Belichick and Matt Groh decided that they weren't going to upgrade this offensive line is because they didn't feel that anybody in free agency or the draft was elite at their position. So they thought that duct taping it for the season with Riley Reif, who didn't even really play this season and spent the majority of the year on IR, was a better route to go. That's the problem. This offense has gotten worse and worse and worse every single year since Tom Brady left. And that was a massive reason why Brady left in the first place, was because they clearly were not building around him offensively and he was getting frustrated. And in another one of my recent videos, we talked about what we learned from that first meeting with Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. And we know that Bill Belichick said that he'd be willing to give up those general manager duties if that's what was best for the team. And I don't know necessarily how true that statement was by Bill Belichick, but at least it was something he said. And I think it put Robert Kraft in a tough position. And I think that that's why the announcement of Bill Belichick moving on from New England wasn't announced that same day that they met for that first meeting. That's why it took a second meeting to finally decide what they were going to do, because Kraft had to sit back with himself and really say, do I want to keep Bill and just not have all the decisions run through him and bring in a new general manager that is going to run the entire show and run Bill Belichick, and Bill's just going to stand back and scheme on a week-to-week basis? And I think Robert Kraft did the complete right thing. Bill Belichick is so established. Bill Belichick is also so stubborn that what general manager were you going to bring in that was really going to listen and stand up to Belichick and say, this is what we're doing, whether you like it or not? You don't have a decision. You don't have a say. Sit down and stop talking in my ear. How many guys really were going to be able to do that? It was going to be very, very hard to find a general manager that wasn't going to let Belichick still have at least some say. And that's why New England is at a point where they absolutely had to move on. And if you're one of those fans who were saying or even still are saying that they shouldn't move on from Bill and that Bill needs to retire a New England Patriot and they owe that to Bill Belichick. No, they don't. No, they don't. They owed Bill Belichick several different opportunities to build this thing back up. And they gave him exactly that. And he absolutely did nothing with it. Tom Brady's last season in New England was 2019. How many seasons did they need to give Bill Belichick to turn this ship around? You had Cam Newton, and then you had Mac Jones for 3 years. That's 4 years to at least move forward and make progress. And what did they do? First year with Cam Newton, they missed the playoffs. Second year with Mac Jones as a rookie quarterback, they're able to squeeze into the playoffs, but then they lose in the first round of the playoffs to a divisional rival, which was one of the worst blowouts over the last decade. Last year, they missed the playoffs. And then this year, they are a 4-win team, being one of the top 3 worst teams in the NFL. Robert Kraft does not owe Bill Belichick or this fan base mediocrity for years and years and years because Bill Belichick brought us success. Because guess what? It wasn't just Bill Belichick. It was Belichick and it was Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not here, a piece of the pie, a big piece of the pie on why we were so successful. That's the truth of the matter. So, again, Kraft does not owe Bill Belichick as long as Bill Belichick wants to continue to coach here, even if he puts up 4-win seasons, all because he was a piece of the pie at what made us so successful before. Because the truth of the matter is that any other head coach in this position would have been fired during the season, would have been fired a couple of years ago. But they've stuck with Bill Belichick. And Robert Kraft just wants to win again. He wants to be back into contention. This is their fastest way at doing so. Look, I absolutely love Bill Belichick. I will absolutely always love Bill Belichick. This is all coming from a football-minded perspective. This is all coming from how this team can be successful, how they can be back into contention. And the truth of the matter is that if they want that, it was going to be without Bill Belichick. Everything that you guys are talking about and preaching is in a perfect world. In reality, it's never a perfect world. And everything that we've talked about, everything that I even talked about just now is the truth, and that is reality. And it was never going to magically change with Bill Belichick. Moving forward, the Pats will be in a position, which we haven't been at in decades, where not only are they going to be looking for a new head coach, but they're also going to be looking for a general manager. That's right. There will be a guy making personnel decisions that is also not the head coach. And it's scary, but it's also exciting. And later today, we'll talk about options for the Patriots at head coach, maybe general manager, as long as they don't make those same decisions on the same day. Couple names just to throw out there. My top 3 in case they do end up announcing it today. I think the top 3 most likely head coach candidates right now for the Patriots are going to be Mike Vrabel, are going to be Mike Vrabel, Gerard Mayo, and Josh McDaniels. It's not that I love those names. Those aren't my personal names that I would love to see as my top 3. But right now, those are the most realistic top 3 for the Patriots because from what it sounds like, Robert Kraft, when promoting and looking for a new head coach of this franchise, is going to be looking for a guy that has roots within the organization and knows the Patriots way and can continue to build off of it and can continue to build off of Belichick, just hopefully in a more modernized way. But guys, we'll be back later today, maybe even a live stream and not a video to talk more about candidates and where the Patriots go moving forward. Thank you so much to Bill Belichick. Seriously, thank you so much for everything you did in New England. I think it's going to be kind of tainted by a 4-win season. It's going to be tainted by a lot of the decisions, especially personnel and coaching wise over the last couple of years, especially the past year alone. But without Belichick, the Patriots are not a franchise. The Patriots do not win 6 Super Bowls. The Patriots do not do what no organization has ever been able to do. So appreciate Bill Belichick. Love Bill Belichick. Although it was time to move on, do not be in denial to what he brought to the Patriots for 20 years. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, we will talk about really a lot of different topics as the Patriots try to really completely build from the bottom up. Make sure on your way out, you guys do leave a big like on this video. Subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. But without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Go Pats.